Artillery Brigade 44th Ukraine's blows up dozens Russian tanks hiding among the trees. His footage shows how Ukrainian artillerymen blew up a Russian tank hiding among trees in a single, powerful, pinpoint strike. The aerial footage opens with the Russian tank hiding among trees next to a dirt road. It is suddenly hit by a Ukrainian shell, causing a huge ball of black smoke to rise from the vehicle. The tank then reverses onto the dirt road, billowing flames. Russian soldiers can then be seen carrying their fallen comrades away from the burning vehicle. The wounded can be seen being dragged or carried along the dirt road by colleagues towards another vehicle. The images were relayed by Operational Command West and the Ukrainian Ground Forces. OC West said, Ukrainian artillerymen of the 44th Separate Artillery Brigade, named after Hetman Danilo Apostle, taught not only the occupiers to flee, but also their tanks. And the Ukrainian Ground Forces said, masterclass from the artillerymen of the 44th Separate Artillery Brigade, named after Hetman Danilo Apostle. Russia invaded Ukraine on February 24th in what the Kremlin is still calling a special military operation. Today marks the 273rd day of the war. The G7 countries are set to announce a price cap on Russian oil. The G7, along with the United States and the European Union, as well as Australia, intend to implement a price cap on maritime oil exports from Russia on December 5th. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has said that Ukrainians who need basic services if Russia knocks out the electricity and other facilities over the winter can go to special invincibility centers. Zelensky said that thousands of these centers across the country will offer electricity, water, heating, internet services, and pharmacies free of charge and around the clock. President Zelensky said, if massive Russian strikes happen again and its clear power will not be restored for hours, the invincibility centers will go into action with all key services. Sergei Kovalenko, the head of YASNO, a major private energy provider for the Ukrainian capital Kiev, has said that blackouts in the country are likely to carry on until at least the end of March. The Russian energy giant Gazprom has reportedly threatened to shut down gas flows to Europe via Ukraine as of next week. The Russian governor of Crimea has said that 2 Ukrainian drone attacks were repelled on Tuesday thanks to air defense systems. Regardless, another barrage of Russian missile strikes hit Ukraine Wednesday, dealing a setback to the country's struggle to restore its power network as winter sets in. As we speak now, Russia has launched a new wave of missile attacks on Ukrainian critical civilian infrastructure, Oleg Nikolenko, the spokesman for Ukraine's Foreign Affairs Ministry, said in an interview. Because of the latest strikes, the interview took place in a ministry bunker several stories underground, inside a small concrete cell. For weeks, the Russian military has been systematically targeting Ukraine's transportation and electricity distribution infrastructures. Following the last missile attacks, more than 10 million Ukrainians were deprived of electricity, Nikolenko said, which represents a quarter of the population. We understand that by launching today's attacks, Russia wants to continue destroying the energy system of Ukraine. Discussions are underway about help from Canada and documents are circulating within the federal bureaucracy, a Canadian official said in a background briefing Wednesday. But Canada doesn't have the industrial capacity to provide its allies the needed heavy equipment, such as transformers, the official said. Wednesday's bombardment came on the same day the European Parliament labeled Russia a state sponsor of terrorism for its invasion of and actions in Ukraine and called for tougher sanctions against Russia from member states. Whenever they can, they try to destroy the capacity of the country to provide the population with electricity, and with electricity comes heating and water, Nikolenko said of the Russian attacks. Kiev was again plunged into darkness Wednesday night and supplies of drinking water were limited. At a downtown hotel near Maidan Square, guests were asked to restrict their water use. A siren warning of missiles sounded at around 12:30 p.m. A two-story building in Kiev was hit and there were unconfirmed reports that people had been injured. The Associated Press reported that in Vilniansk in eastern Ukraine, a Russian rocket struck the maternity wing of a hospital on Wednesday, killing a newborn boy and critically injuring a doctor. The Ukrainian army confirmed Wednesday that a number of cities had been hit by missiles, including Lviv and Odessa. Authorities specified that energy infrastructure had been targeted as well as residential buildings. Russian attacks have destroyed generating facilities and transmission lines, affecting the entire production and distribution system.